Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to a new edition of the Blue Clouds Training Academy webinar. This one is part of a new series we just kickstarted, focus on ocean literacy. But today it's not just a webinar organized by Blue Cloud. We are very happy to organize, let's say, the episode today along with our colleagues from ECOP, which are the early career ocean professionals. But we'll go more into detail about our partnership we have here at the moment. So we would like to give you an overview of what is going to happen for the next hour and a half. So, and to welcome you all, you have me, Rita Menezes, who is part of the Blue Cloud 2026 project, as a communication leader, and as well as we have Evgenia Kostianaya from ECOP program. She's a global coordinator of this initiative. But before we give like a short overview of what Blue Cloud and what ECOP is about, just would like to provide an overview of what is going to happen for the next minute. So at the moment, me and Eugenia, we are welcome you all to be here with us. After some welcome words, as you may have seen, we will give the floor to our next speaker. I've changed. Okay, now it is here, Evgenia. So we are happy to have Evgenia with us. She is the global coordinator of the ECOP. And ECOP is a program focused on early career ocean professionals. And the goal of this program is basically to support early career ocean professionals, not only in their capacity, not only in developing their capacity in the field, but also by providing its members with meaningful networking, training opportunities, and also professional development, as well as with funding opportunities, while creating and increasing the capacity for cooperation and knowledge exchange from its members, which come from all over the world. But for more details, we give the floor to Eugenia in a couple of seconds. We'll keep going through the agenda we have today. So after Eugenia, we are going to have a representative from ECOP. So we'll be very happy to give the floor to our colleague Andrija. She is part of the Ocean Literacy Task Team from ECOP, and this task team within ECOP's main focus is to promote awareness and knowledge exchange about marine environments. And Andrija, she has been involved in several initiatives that connect science with education as well as with ocean sustainable practices. After Andrija, we give the floor to Otman. So Otman is our speaker who is involved on both ECOP and also in Blue Cloud. So from the ECOP perspective, Otman, he's the ECOP national coordinator of Morocco. But within Blue Cloud, he's part of the Blue Cloud Advisory Board. So he has been with us since quite a couple of years to give his insights and inputs to support the implementation of the Blue Cloud project. After Otman, we give the floor to our colleague Jean-Olivier. He's part of Blue Cloud Consortium. He has wide experience on marine ecosystems, especially on plankton ecology. He has several studies on microscopic organisms drifting in the ocean and also their ecological roles. And so Jean-Olivier, who has experience on data science, machine learning, and ecological theory, he'll do a presentation focused on one of the Blue Cloud workbenches and talk about a little bit of international cooperation. After Blue Cloud, after Jean-Olivier, we'll give the floor to Sara Pitonet. She's the Blue Cloud coordinator, and Sara will talk about the European perspectives and most important policies that are happening in Europe in terms of ocean sustainability. And she'll give some words about marine data infrastructures and cloud ecosystems that exist in Europe. So as you may have seen, we are going to start from global with our colleagues from ECOP to provide this global overview of the work they are doing in terms of ocean literacy and promoting international collaboration. And then after we start transitioning from the global to European perspective with Otman, Jean-Olivier, and then Sarah Pitonet. After Sarah, we will give the floor to some questions and answers. You can pose your question by writing directly on the question and answer chat. If you want to talk directly to us, it's just a matter to raise your hand and we have time. We'll give you the floor to talk directly to us, to everyone. After that, then we'll close this webinar. We're going to have a panel discussion where all these people that did their presentation, we are going to talk a little more into details about their experience, and we'll also want to know their opinions in terms of how ECOP and Blue Cloud, what they still need to do, let's say, to empower, let's say, ocean knowledge coming from society. And so we are looking forward to hear their insights on this matter. And with this, we will close the webinar. And the 90 minutes had flown away. So now just a quick introduction about Blue Cloud, very short, and then we'll pass the floor to Virginia and we can officially kickstart the webinar. So naturally, Sarah Pitonet should provide more details about this, as well as also Otman and Olivier. But the main goal of the Blue Cloud is basically to develop a initially European federated ecosystem focused on FAIR principles, which are related to fair data management and also open data. The main goal is basically to deepen our knowledge in terms of ocean sustainability by combining and using different kinds of data that are accessible and can be easily shared and used to create new knowledge, hence the application of fair data and open science principles. Naturally, Blue Cloud aims to support not only European initiatives like the OSC, but global ones, namely the digital twin of the ocean. With this, there are several services we have available, which services are available at your fingertips, virtual research environments. We have marine thematic services, where are services that are focused to certain communities that are available to be used, but also additional marine thematic services can be developed. But these are very much technical details. Let's speed up with the webinar, and I will be very happy to give the floor to our dear colleague Virginia, who is the ECOP Global Program Coordinator. Virginia, looking forward to hear from you now.
Thank you very much, Rita. Thank you for the introduction. And good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to all of you here. It's really a pleasure to be joining this webinar and doing together with Blue Cloud. So I'd just like to briefly introduce the ECOP program. So basically, Rita has already explained our goal and our mission. So this is to support early career ocean professionals in any way that is possibly available. But the things we do most is we try to promote capacity development opportunities, either by gathering information about them or by creating opportunities ourselves in case of training courses or webinars where we think that certain gaps in capacity development exist. Of course, social literacy also falls into this category. We also promote and share opportunities about funding, networking, and other professional engagement in working groups or expert groups. We are an officially UN Ocean Decade endorsed program. We were endorsed by IOC UNESCO in June 2021. We were one of the first endorsed programs of this great initiative. For those of you who are not aware of the UN Ocean Decade, this is really a global initiative that started in 2021 and it will last for a decade, so until 2030. This is a great movement uniting various organizations, policymakers, NGOs, all kinds of stakeholders for the goal of creating better data, information, to be able to achieve the ocean we want. So a healthier, more resilient, more predictable ocean that is so needed in all the countries of the world. Just a short highlight of the definition that we use in our program. An ECOP is a person who self-identifies as being early in their career so within the first 10 years or less of professional experience. So we don't have any age limit to who can be considered an ECOP. So we are very much open to really anyone who is willing to contribute to ocean protection and to ocean knowledge. So I think with that, I can pass the floor back over to Rita, and we can start with a presentation about ocean literacy activities. Thank you. So Rita, I think you're muted.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Yes. I think so. Thank you, Eugenia. Into that, so in fact, so as you have seen, there are several initiatives that ECOP are implementing all across the world, and taking advantage of Eugenia's presentation now. So I'd like to give the floor to our first, let's say, presentation, and Rija. She's also part of the ECOP, and she'll provide an overview, I suppose, from the initiatives that ECOP has mostly in Asia and in Africa, right, Andrija?
Sorry. Yes, that is correct. So thank you for having me in this webinar, and I will now share my screen. Is it?
We can see it, but not. Okay, now it's on presentation mode. I think we are ready to start, Andrija.
Okay, well, hello everybody, and welcome to the webinar. I am Adrija Chatterjee, and I am a representative of the Ocean Literacy Task Team from the Early Career Ocean Professionals Program. I will be presenting about the different task teams that the different projects that our task team has, and about the Asia and the African Hub. So to begin with, the Ocean Decade, that was between 2021 and 2030, was launched in 2021, and it has been it is the platform. It has given us the platform to actually develop many different projects and programs under which. Sorry. Under which many initiatives can be taken on.
We hear you correctly. There's no problem.
I cannot.
We can hear and you can see you correctly, Andrija.
But I cannot change my screen.
Okay, maybe you can try to unshare and share again. It will help.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so
sorry about that. So the Early Career Ocean Professionals Program is an endorsed project under the IOC UNESCO as a part of the United Nations Ocean Decade Program. And we have been operating since 2021, and we have reached over more than 8,000 members, and reached with about 168 countries represented. We have 6 regional nodes and more than 60 national hubs, and 6 different task teams, including 2 of the new ones, that is Ocean Bridges and the Deep Sea Program. There are various different endorsed projects under this, and you can find more about it on the link that will be added in the chat. So why exactly are the ECOPs so important? Well, with the launching of the Ocean Decade, the early career ocean professionals have received a platform, a kind of a push to actually create a community to support each other, to become, to not just help each in capacity development and strengthening technology and science for a more sustainable future, but also to inspire and lead with empathy, and take ocean literacy to a different level where it reaches very many people, especially primary stakeholders and our future generations, so as to make informed decisions, and so that we can help the policymakers make inclusive decisions and laws. And the most important thing is we would like to see global cooperation and collaboration towards a more educated future. So within the ECOP program, like I have mentioned, there are very many task teams, and I am a part of the Ocean Literacy Task Team. And today we will talk about a few of the key achievements of our group. The first important thing that really strikes out is that our task team has helped the Venice Declaration to be translated into 14 different languages. And over here, I would like to elaborate a little bit about the Venice Declaration, which was a convention where many delegates from across the world convened in Italy, in Venice, in 2024. The June of 2024, to come up with a declaration to promote ocean literacy at the Ocean Literacy World Conference. So it was identified that ocean literacy is a key tool in reaching people across the globe towards educating and spreading awareness about different challenges in the ocean front, and sustainability. So the declaration was signed, and it has been translated by our group into 14 different languages. And the link to the declaration will be added in the chat box. Apart from that, of course, there are various other projects that the team is currently involved in, and we especially are focused on promoting the visibility of regional initiatives and fostering cross-cultural exchange and showcasing innovative ocean literacy actions and projects. So one of the projects undertaken by some of my teammates, Laura and Sophia, is the Ocean Literacy for Blue Citizenship. So the motivation behind this project is that the laws and policies are basically implemented and made for the citizens, and it should include it is the right of the citizens to actually be a part of it in the making of it. So we started looking into this, and it was identified that most citizens, and not just including the ocean professionals, would actually choose to not be a part of it because of their lack of understanding of policies and their implementation. Therefore, we have come up with this project where we try to gather information and identify gaps, and try to build training programs and brochures and information sheets for citizens and ocean professionals and educators, so that they can become more informed about the laws and policies and the role that they play in the process of formulating these formulating such laws, and also therefore kind of taking control over how it impacts their lives. I would like to bring your attention to the very vast webinar series that the Ocean Literacy Task Team also has been undertaking since 2022. It ranges from a wide range of topics, starting with how to start your own NGO to seagrass conservation, bridging the policy and society interface, and various different topics. It is basically a vast treasure of knowledge, of information, and this webinar is very, very informative for all the young professionals and everybody else who's interested in these things to find information and collaboration and networking opportunities with people who are presenting in these webinars. We also actually aim to promote different regional activities so that it can be taken by or treated as an example by other task teams and other regional teams, and they can have a shared learning and strategic outcome from shared knowledge. I am really glad to present about the Blue School Caribbean Network, which is run by our member Paula Diaz, from which is actually spread across many different countries, and it has started only this year, and it is already seeing 14 countries that are certified as blue schools and are participating actively in this. There is of course more that is to come, and the project is very fast-paced, and there are also many chances for collaborating with regional authorities and other programs and startups for various different programs. Yeah. So I will also be putting Paula's contact here with in case somebody's interested in contacting her. So it is essential for me to mention here that the Ocean Literacy Task Team has been represented in the global conferences, which was the UN Ocean Decade Conference in Barcelona in 2024 and also in Nice in 2025. Many of our team members were present there, and several side events were arranged. The primary goal of these events were to spread knowledge about ocean literacy and find to reach many different youth who need support and information to grow into their own projects as well. We're all constantly trying to basically share our experiences from our projects in our regions, so that more people can have access to information that we already have and can build from that. So a part of the ocean literacy group has actually recognized the importance of building hubs, because there are regions that require more representation and support, and actually have been gaining a lot from regional collaborations. Therefore, the ECOP Asia hub ECOP Asia has become a very important group. It has more than 9 national nodes and 2,000 registered members, with over 37 countries that have been represented. The most important strategies that actually this group is following is that the formation of national ECOP nodes across many different countries, and to sustain the ECOP Asia internship scheme, and the release of tools and materials to engage the network. And it also focuses on strengthening relationships between regional actors to foster new partnerships and collaborations. And it is also one of the important goals to actually translate the ambitions and goals of the Vision 2030 process into the regional priorities as seen required. So there have been ECOP Asia is represented by a vast number of countries in Asia. The majority of the ECOPs do come from India, China, Bangladesh, Korea, Indonesia, and but we do have members also from East Timor and the island of Taiwan since 2025 May. So we can say that our reach is quite widespread and vast, and it is really interesting to see the kind of collaborative efforts that we have within this group. Sorry.
We can see your presentation, Andrija.
Oh, okay. There are several different initiatives that the ECOP Asia is involved in, and they have also come up with this survey from different countries and have released 10 reports, and so based on need assessment from the different regions that are a part of ECOP Asia. The main focus of this group is actually to provide capacity development and training programs on different observation systems and ocean observation processes. And the group has been involved in various conference sessions, workshops, webinars, podcasts, beach cleanups, and mentorship programs with the help of local and national institutes in various different countries. So this is an example of a question from one of the need assessment surveys, which is so essential because Asia is so diverse in its culture and its geography that the needs of every country and the ECOPs vary a lot. Therefore, the need assessment survey has helped us identify and target our efforts in the areas that are most required in the different countries that are a part of this program. With the help of the Nippon Foundation, we have also been able to create a geo-referenced ocean stakeholders map for Asia, wherein you can identify and easily find whatever organizations that you're looking for and different kinds of stakeholders that you're interested in collaborating with, networking with, or working with, or exchanging information with. One of the more focused groups in ECOP, under ECOP Asia, is the ECOP Asia Ocean Literacy Hub. So it was identified that Asia is an excellent example for international collaboration because there is so much information that is already being recycled and being shared between several different project partners that the Ocean Literacy Hub was created to bring together ocean experts and ocean literacy experts and young ECOPs to come together and share their knowledge and their own experiences and resources across the region to actually to kind of enhance our impact and kind of collaborate on projects that are even bigger and can be international. So the most important project at the moment ongoing under the ECOP Asia Hub are the Blue Curriculum and the Blue Schools program, which is being largely done in India and Malaysia and is led by one of our ECOP members, Afik Dur, and it will be it is in the process, and we are really excited about the outcome of these projects. You can find more information about it from the link of our webpage that is also here and will also be on the chat. Now I would like to take a little bit time to talk about ECOP Africa Ocean Literacy Hub. As Africa is also so wide and diverse, it was identified that a hub would be essential to bring together the resources and knowledge base database to unite ECOPs and find strategic solutions to various different problems. So the hub was created, which is led by Chris and Sophia. This is a fairly newer ocean literacy hub, and they have already been doing really great work. Africa faces a lot of different problems, starting with severe effects of climate change, overfishing, and other such problems. And it has been identified that ocean literacy could be a key tool in mitigating such issues. Therefore, our ECOP members, especially in Morocco, have been working with various different universities and organized various different conferences, participated in various different conferences to engage with the youth and to promote awareness. So they have also developed they have been a key partner in our Venice Declaration as well, translation, and they have been creating different research, deep water research, and to strengthen the capacity for deep water research in Africa, and other projects. Another exciting initiative was the Ocean Champions project that was taken over in many different countries in Africa, for example, Morocco, Kenya, Cameroon, and Nigeria. So our ECOPs have been involved in intense ocean literacy programs with the different universities and schools in these areas to bring various different aspects of the ocean and climate change to these young ocean professionals, and to engage with children to understand the ocean that they're so intensely connected with better. Of course, there has been a lot of participation in many different conferences as well throughout the years, and they have been involved in dialogues and workshops and training programs as well. So the more newer project, just like in Asia, is also the Blue Curriculum, and it is currently a joint effort by Maizalu and the ECOP Ocean Literacy Task Team in Africa. So we will be there will be more information available on it, and there is currently a lot of work going on about it to launch these in different schools. So these are the capacity development databases that are available as a part of the Early Career Ocean Professionals program, where you can find support in any aspect that you require. So the most important thing is for ocean professionals is usually the lack of resources to know where exactly to look for different opportunities and support. And we have put together these databases so that to kind of streamline the process for you to look for whatever you require. And a recent addition to this has been the UNESCO Ocean Literacy Library. It is a huge library with a lot of information and resources for ocean literacy. It is made for educators, trainers, and young ocean professionals to understand and to spread the word and to teach young generations and just and to participate and use in any kind of awareness programs at all. I highly recommend this library, and it would be great if you could look into it. You will find resources from policy making to basic understanding of ocean and all kinds of aspects of the ocean. So this is our official website with everything that is available, and this presentation will also be available to you, so you can actually join and look into each of these pages and find all the information that you need. And this brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for your attention, and the links to all of our databases and the people that you can reach out to and the web pages will be attached on the chat box. And I hope this was helpful. And yeah, I'm open to your questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Andrija. Very content-rich presentation. ECOP really does a lot around the globe. As informed, if you have any questions for Andrija, we invite you to write them on the chat. Depending on the time, we aim to have a couple of minutes for questions and answers after all presentations. In the meantime, we invite you to write there, and I'll pass the floor to Hotman, who is part of ECOP, but also in Blue Cloud, and he's going to talk about the Blue Cloud hackathon, which was organized this year, and this year is, let's say, the second edition of the hackathon. While Hotman will start his presentation, I personally have one or two questions to Andrija, but I'll write on the chat, so feel free to do the same. And Hotman, up to you to start.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You can see now my presentation full screen.
Exactly.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah. Well, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for Blue Cloud for giving me also the opportunity and a little bit to talk about the Blue Cloud hackathon. As I wear both like hats. One hat is ECOP and the other hat is like part of the Blue Cloud. I think one of the difficult tasks is to follow on Andrija work done by ECOPs. And the thing I will try to do now is a little bit talk about how can we link ocean literacy to the action done by the Blue Cloud and also by the hackathon. So my name is Othman Sherkawi Dakaki. I'm both an ECOP Morocco national coordinator and also a sub-regional coordinator for the Mediterranean. And I will start by just framing this. Ocean literacy is very simple. It's maybe understanding the influence of the ocean on us, but also understanding how we influence the ocean. And it's maybe can be simple as turning raw information into knowledge, and also can be also either at home, at a classroom, or in a public policy. So by setting those standards, you can see why Blue Cloud is very important, because it takes raw information that someone or the general public do not understand and make it either digitally accessible or make it into more visible workflow. So this is why I always love putting all this, you can see below the kitchen or metaphor. Well, the ingredient are the data, the recipe are the workflow, and the chef is all of us or the users of the Blue Cloud. So basically, Blue Cloud gives you the tools and provide a pantry in the stores for you to give something more. And this is very important because it showcases that not only Blue Cloud is giving us accessibility to visually see stuff, but also it's like open data and maybe can you see it like this? If you're an input-output guy, you can see it as open data in and understandable output out, which is the key tools of ocean literacy. And understanding also the gap in science is like a very striking example is that as of June 2025, 27.3% of the global seafloor map has been mapped to modern standard. Great effort, but still a lot to complete. So more mapping, more understanding, and better decisions, this is why you always say it, why it matters, because without data, we're blind. Our decisions don't have any structure, foundation, and with open science, we can act. So open science accessible for everyone. Now, why the ocean and why now? Well, as mentioned, there's like an overwhelming action about the ocean. There's the UN Ocean Decade. There's the Paris Agreement in COP. There's the One Ocean Summit. There is like youth networks, not only ECOPs, but there is like biodiversity networks. A lot of networks going on, and all of them deal with an interaction. When you talk about climate, ocean actually regulates climate. When you talk about food security, oceans are also food security and supporters of the livelihood of a lot of millions or billions of people. And so you can see that everyone's around an ocean. And you can see that by having also one of the SDGs, which is number 14. That's very important. So this is why oceans are very important. Now it's more into understanding how this comes. So what the hackathon came as an answer to certain challenges. And you can see that a hackathon is an impressive action because it gathers people from different backgrounds. Together they come, they form a team, and they work on a single project dealing with different challenges, and they outsource us some solutions, deliverables, and it's very important. So the hackathon this year got almost 1,000 registrations across the world, mainly I think Europe, Africa, and Asia. They were helped by strong coaches and the jury support. And what we got actually notebooks, we got maps, and we got a clear map from their path from beginning to the end, like from data to decisions. And it's very important because this year there were like 3 winners, and the winners were like twin track. And one of the things that was amazing about this year hackathon was the names. Like Twin Tracks was absolutely an amazing project. It's like a digital twin style protocol for the North Sea, which integrates animal movements that track into environmental layers. And it also show how ecological behavior can be exposed alongside the humans' pressures over these places. There's also the second place were Octopulse. Also, they had the name Crack in the code as it, and this was an early warning concept about octopus boom. It was built across multidisciplinary and Earth observation, modeling, also a lot of workflows, and it gave like a transparent method, and also that anyone can like look at, inspect, and adapt. And also Rogobus, which was an invasive macroalgae beach cast solution that combines satellite detections and also integrated into Edito, making it directly relevant to coastal operations. And it's important. So why would you call this? So I called this Ocean Literacy in Action because each project started from a challenge that everybody can notice. It started linking open data with transparency method and also decision-ready visualization and decisions that can be used for tutoring people like classes, or can be also given to agencies, decision makers, or citizens. And it like basically do what we all wanted to do is like the literacy from moving from global awareness to capability of doing changes. So this is why I say it always, it's co-creation what made the Blue Cloud successful, and why everybody now is jumping to the Blue Cloud or jumping to the hackathon trends. Blue Cloud had started it, And it shows that co-creation and open science is what we want. And also it's like creativity of building different solutions, and you have it under your fingertips. That's what made it possible. And also because it all under what we call the challenge 10 of the UN decade, which is restoring relationship or the ocean relationship with us. So this is why it's very important. And also from the ECOP community, it's a perfect arena of learning by doing. You have teachers, you have concept, and you have coaches that help you understand a lot of stuff. So it's basically immersing yourself in the open science and the open data. So that's why I feel like the Blue Cloud was hackathon was a success in terms of an ocean literacy challenge and also the ocean literacy dealing with. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Otman, for this nice overview of the Blue Cloud Hackathon. And before we give the floor to Jean-Olivier from Blue Cloud, when I was following your presentation, Otman, but also the presentation from Andrija, in fact, there are several ways to promote ocean literacy from different people. So with Andrija, her presentation will focus on globally, let's say, more focus on especially on Africa and Asia, and a way to promote ocean literacy. So the strategies that ECOP are implementing are mostly related to educating the young generations, like at school, but also at early career researchers. So they have a focus to create this community, to spread awareness. There is also the initiative on creating these national nodes to bring people together, and also they mentioned the collaborative policy regional activities, which involve not only researchers, enthusiasts, and policymakers. So the way to promote ocean literacy is to create the momentum, create communities, and raise awareness that this is important, and make people to feel that they want to be part of this and to work together. Another way that to do the same thing with a different approach is the one that you just presented, Otman. So in this case, it's in the interest people came directly from, let's say, industry and startups and developers who also embrace the mission, and thanks to innovation, they develop a technical product that can use data collected by researchers. So it's a very good example of collaboration where, thanks to the work of the researchers, these teams were able to get that data and bring innovation and develop services which will help others. So this is kind of a good snowball effect that a player influences the other, and all together, by reaching different people with different purposes, it will be easier to, let's say, to promote these, let's say, ocean literacy and also sustainability. So we have a nice overview of Rija, now one from Otman, and now let's go more into a more concrete example of research, and that's why we have Jean-Olivier here with us. He's going to talk about a little bit of one of the Blue Cloud workbenches, but with a special focus of collaboration, that all of this is possible thanks to collaboration. Right, Jean-Olivier?
Yes, indeed. And I cannot stop my video, but maybe you don't need it. So hi everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the nice two first presentations. Three first presentations, sorry. And so indeed, I'm going to present one of the many activities of Blue Cloud by a large number of people, and that's actually the point. So what I'm going to present is one solution to a general problem with biological data. And the problem is that biological data comes in the form of what we have on the top left here. So a few points where we have observations. And actually that map is a quite dense one. For many biological processes or species, we don't have such dense a map. And what we want actually to understand the ocean and manage it is what you have in the bottom right. Okay, so it's a complete map of everything everywhere. There's no way that we're going to reach this by only more observations. Of course, we need more observation, but it will never fill everything in time and space. So one solution for this is what's called habitat modeling or niche modeling, which is what we implemented in the Blue Cloud. And the idea is that the observation of biological organisms can be linked to their environment, which is much better described at global scale. And if there's some relationship between the two, which we expect there is in all groups, but particularly in plankton, we can capture that relationship, okay? The abundance will be related to salinity, temperature, etc. That is the habitat or the niche of the species. When we do this, we fit models, and so we can have quality checks on those models. And when we have a model that passes the quality check, that is good enough, then we can take the same environmental fields and predict the presence of a species, the abundance of the species, the presence of a protein at global scale. Okay, so that's the general purpose. And then what do we need to do all this? Okay, we actually need a lot of stuff. We need open biodiversity data. We need observation that can be queried in large databases that cover the whole world. We need fields of environmental variables that cover, again, the world's ocean, and we need those to be gridded and available everywhere all the time. To build the model, we need some biological model, knowledge of the targets. Okay, we won't put the same variables if it's a whale or if it's a copepod or if it's a protein of some sort that is presented in only one key group. Okay, we need expertise in statistical modeling to assess the quality of the models and not predict things that are unrealistic. And finally, we need efficient and reproducible computation environments, because all of this requires to manipulate a lot of data and to do some quite heavy lifting in terms of computation. And so there's no way that a single person in a single place can have all this. And that's actually the very reason for the existence of projects like Blue Cloud that seek to merge expertise, but also merge, different sources of data from different places. And so that's the team that made all of this possible. There's a gradient from ECOP to less ECOP towards the top, let's say. But I was glad to hear that ECOP can be anyone, actually. So what I want to stress is the differences in expertise that made this possible. The whole workbench is managed by Maaike Vogt. Oh, sorry, I should have changed her name. Their email to her name, basically. So Maaike has expertise with Earth system models as a whole, and so what she's really interested in having is those global fields. Okay. On my end, I've collaborated with Maaike for a while now. I have some expertise on plankton imaging data, but also on the statistical models that are needed to build these large-scale fields. For the, again, less ECOP persons, the Matthias who works at the same place as Maaike has expertise on the computational methods and their optimization, which again was essential to make it run smoothly. And finally, Lionel Guidi in the same lab as I am has expertise on the genomic data. So again, two sources of data and the consequences of plankton activity on carbon flux. So from the team of, let's say, permanent staff, you see that there's already a bunch of different expertises, and these are from 2 different labs. So I work in Sorbonne University in France, like Lionel, and Maaike and Matthias work at ETH Zurich in Switzerland. And then there were actually a lot of ECOPs that were involved in that project. Alexandre wrote most of the code, and he had expertise in the process of niche modeling, but also he acquired expertise on plankton. We need good environmental fields, and that was the job of Corentin. And so Alexandre and Corentin worked together, but they initially have very different expertise. And to be able to run all that at scale, there was the need for somebody who was more technical. So Alexandre wrote the code, but he's a biologist, so he's not necessarily knowledgeable about how to run this on high performance computing, cloud computing, etc. And that was the job of us. He was actually collaborating with Victoria on our end, who is a data manager. So she knows about data handling and this type of optimization. So they work together on this. And finally, Virginie on our end is an ecologist, and she used the tools that were developed to address new questions, basically showing that what was developed can be reused for other purposes. So I think it's a good example of what diversity you need to have in a team in terms of expertise, labs, age, everything to reach that goal. And so now I'll go quickly over three achievements, basically, from that team and those tools. The first was, the goal was to map biodiversity of plankton at global scale. And so that starts by querying large-scale databases for all the occurrences. And this is what you have on the rotating Earth now. These are all the pixels where we have the information from one observation at one moment in time about which species were there or not. Then we modeled a lot of those species, we stacked the model probability, and then we can compute a map. So we have a map for each species, but then we can compute a map of biodiversity. So this is species richness in that case. And from this, we can observe that there's overall higher biodiversity in the intertropical band than towards the pole, with, I would say, unprecedented resolution and scale and scope because of the large data set that was underneath. So that's really the typical example of how you use those tools, is to map biological species and then from this infer diversity. But then the two next examples are a bit more original, let's say. In that case, we mapped the metabolism, okay? So we mapped actually a genetic pathway. So instead of querying species present, we query gene presence from genomic samples all around the world. Then we, instead of modeling species, we model enzymes distributions. And then we can have a probability of presence of each enzyme, and the enzymes combine together into metabolic pathways. And so we can map the probability of occurrence of a metabolic pathway. And in that case, we were interested in nitrogen, which is a very important element in the open sea. And there's two pathways that we looked at, nitrogen fixation, so getting nitrogen from the atmosphere into the ocean. This is used to construct new cells in regions where there's not a lot of nitrogen in the ocean. And we see from the model that is performed mostly near the surface in regions that are nutrient poor. And this is really relates to what we know about this, because it really makes sense in nutrient poor region, and it needs oxygen, so that makes sense that it's only near the surface. And so we knew about the distribution of this, but again, not at that scale and with that resolution over the whole world. And combined pathways denitrification, which is using nitrogen as for cell functioning, not cell building, let's say. And I'll quickly go over the last one. In that case, we did not map species, we did not map genes, we actually mapped morphology. So we looked at images from, again, different data sources, but with the same general process of querying. Then we looked at gray level in images as a measure of opacity, as you can see. And opacity has a meaning for plankton. Being transparent is good in the open ocean. It means you're camouflaged. And then we can predict this again at global scale. So all the red part is the part we're not too sure about. Okay, so again, we have confidence in a model in some regions, not in others. And what we see from this is that the color of the plankton basically is not driven at all by the same things that drive color on land. It's mostly driven by the clarity of the water. More clearer water means more transparent plankton. Predation, more risk of predation means clearer plankton as an escape mechanism, but also UV light, because when you're close to the surface and you're subject to UV, then you might need pigments to protect your nucleic acids from the degradation by UV. Okay, and with this, I conclude. Thank you very much for listening, and I'm happy to answer any question about all this.
Thank you, Jean-Olivier, for the presentation. I believe you have a question on the chat, not on the Q&A, on the chat. I'll leave you the opportunity to reply by writing for the benefit of time. So yeah, thank you for that. So as you can see in an example from Jean-Olivier, collaboration of people with different skills and competencies are crucial to pull out a final result that it's very useful for the overall knowledge that we can have about the oceans. But anyway, one important aspect also to promote this, let's say, ocean literacy and knowledge in people to be even more motivated with that, can be done through the creation of policies. And with this, I'm happy to give the floor to Sarah Pitonet. Has said she's the coordinator of the Blue Cloud, and she's going to provide an overview of the big policies and programs that are being implemented in Europe related to this topic. Right, Sarah?
Yeah, thank you very much, Rita. Thank you, Othman, Jean-Olivier, Genia, Andrea, and all of you joining us on this Friday. Yes, my name is Sarah Pitonet. I'm the coordinator of the Blue Cloud 2026 project. And so what I'm gonna do now is giving you a little bit of the context where the project sits in Europe, in the European framework. So I'm going to use a slide deck that was not prepared by me, but was jointly, let's say, prepared and shown by the scientific coordinator of Blue Cloud, Pasquale Pagano, very recently in the Digital Ocean Forum that took place in Brussels a couple of weeks ago. So this will help me guiding you. Just confirm that you can probably see my slide deck. Can you see the slide? No, you see it the other way. Wait. So yeah, now it should be correct. So in Europe, there is a huge program that is called European Digital Twin of the Ocean. I'm not sure if this was mentioned already before by my colleagues. That basically, since 2021, started funding a number of projects and initiatives and infrastructure to actually materialize a digital real-time representation of the ocean. I mean, since 2021, something like 15 billion euros have been invested, in this program. So Blue Cloud is one of the initiatives contributing to this, and as part of the huge program, a platform that is called the EDITO platform, so the European Digital Twin of the Ocean platform, is been developed. They're working on this as actually the technological platform where to access services, applications, and other products that can serve the scientific community, but also the broader marine community, so encompassing not just research, but policymakers and industry, to really build digital representations of this season. So in this respect, Blue Cloud, let's say, as I said, is one of the initiatives contributing to it. But as Otman already pointed out, and many other colleagues, and Jean-Olivier showing you this collaboration that is taking place, Blue Cloud represents the open science approach to the marine research. And sorry, give me just 1 second. And so in this, we position a little bit in between this movement of open science, collaborative open science, and the ambitious goal of the European Commission to build a digital twin of the ocean. So on one side, there is this political context of which is called in an acronym is EOSC, which is the European the open science community. Sorry, there are 1 minute. And which is one of the driving pillars of the European research era. So open science is conceived as one of the powerful drivers of the European economy itself. And the vision of making all this research product fully accessible, reusable, interoperable, and findable by any researchers that in Europe wants to contribute with their own activity to exactly the digital representation of the ocean for better modeling and ultimately for better addressing the societal and environmental needs that we all have. So into this framework, Blue Cloud, the project and the platform that you've seen used, for instance, in the hackathon or with the modeling activities that Jean-Olivier presented, offer to this system a number of services, which are called in jargon core services. Basically, it means the computational foundational components for running experiments. Then an exchange layer, which are the services that Jean-Olivier presented. So data or applications offered to users for reuse and uptake in many scientific experiments. And then there is a framework which is called an interoperability framework. So a huge effort of activities being done to ensure that the semantics and the mainly, yes, the semantic behind all this data is actually shared across common standards, as in turned into machine-readable software products that can run across a number of applications or even domains, so even going beyond pure marine domain. This falls under a strong political commitment from the European Commission towards open science. It's not just a movement, it's really taking the shape of a federation. So a shared ecosystem with common rules, with a governance structure and a strong community building it. A project like Blue Cloud is contributed to all these levels. So we are fully committed to the European mandate of creating this system of system, a federated system of system where technological services and scientific and research services are interconnected and can be used by all researchers in Europe. We are strongly committed to contribute to solve scientific issues under the Ocean mission. And we are strongly committed to contribute to EDITO as this operational infrastructure for marine science that the European Digital Twin of the Ocean program is building. The challenge, of course, is that connecting all these pillars is not at all easy, and our main mandate is ensure interoperability across the different levels, and we want to make this bridge between the request and the potential in the open science community available through EDITO, for EDITO, and vice versa. This is the framework where we work in Europe under this European Open Science Cloud. So we, Blue Cloud, in the current phase, represent the marine community in this EOSC Federation. So we are actually in a quite privileged position because this federation is conceived as a system of systems. They call them nodes. And they are a number. The idea is that they grow. There are thematic nodes, there are national nodes, there are institutional nodes. And with Blue Cloud, we aim at joining efforts from the marine community for the marine node in EOSC. This should become the bridge with the EDITO program, so that we facilitate that direct connection between this community and the broad community shaping the digital twin of the ocean framework. So we act as a bridge for this ecosystem, and we actually push this collaboration component that is fundamental for bringing novelty, innovation through open science. And what Ottoman and Jean-Olivier just presented are just two perfect examples of how open science collaboration is brought to real life. And in that, we have some principles that we follow. We introduce this concept of smart federation. Exactly. Everything should be interoperable. That's our aim. But of course, under some policy-driven guidelines that are those that the major EDITO program is giving. And then radical transparency, which goes hand in hand with the third principle. So we want to provide full open access to policies, metadata, processes, ensuring trust and traceability. I mean, all the work that you've seen mentioned by Jean-Olivier, for instance, is available. Well, first of all, within the Blue Cloud platform, and the workbenches are open for collaboration. You can register and ask them to allow you and see the workbenches, the data products being produced there. But also all the materials, the deliverables are all available, and any paper documents that is being prepared is also available. So our role as, let's say, from a project to this open science liaison between open science community, the Open Science Federation, the EOSC Federation in Europe, and EDITO, is to ensure that EDITO services are discoverable by any other, let's say, users in EOSC. They are fully compliant, and vice versa. Interoperability is mutual. And just to conclude, our approach is to provide a model, like a blueprint for how scientific domains can federate their specific services in a broader ecosystem. This is the, say, European landscape, but we know ocean is one. There are no real boundaries. So we are working this with European people, but it doesn't mean that we're closed. So the message for all of you coming from outside Europe is to come and look at what we are doing and share best practices. We already do that with many communities in the Atlantic, in other projects. So we want to be, I mean, everything is open and accessible, also for comparing practices happening in other regions. I'll stop here.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. Indeed, so these initiatives in Europe, we are not in a bubble, open to collaborate. So this is another example of ocean, contributing to ocean literacy around the world. Collaboration is needed. That's we also, with this, hence we organize the joint webinar between Blue Cloud and ECOP. So we should not work in silos. And we should, all the regions on the globe should work. Each one, they have their own strengths and values. Asia has theirs. Africa has also theirs. For example, Africa is a particular continent because it is connected to oceans as well as Asia. So yeah, so these are we were able to provide very nice examples. And the thing is, exploiting, and thank you in advance to our participant Shengui Li, who I believe also works on ocean literacy. So if you are aware, any one of the audience, but also from the Blue Cloud and ECOP, so there is let's say a call for ocean literacy stories, and she our attendees inviting Shamil Liu to submit a story to a future publication, which will be focused on ocean decade, promoting ocean literacy from Science Direct, and the deadline is April next year. So thank you very much for your contribution to the topic. Really appreciated that. And I think we can go to the next moment, or the final part of our webinar, which is a concise panel discussion. I'm aware we are a little bit late, but so let's try. We will do it. Let's do this informative in a concise time frame. So we are going to pose a question to each one of our guests, and we'd like to start with Anrija, who was, let's say, the first big presentation we had here today. So one thing, and we'd like to hear from you, Anrija, when the let's say this webinar organizing team was preparing this webinar, we're wondering, so in your view as part of ECOP, in your experience with Asia, Africa, and also people from around the globe, in your opinion, what would be how we can ensure that the ocean literacy principles, which you are very well familiar with, could be heavily embraced by initiatives like Blue Clouds and the marine technical heavy platforms, how they can implement those principles within their strategies in order to not only engage with the scientific audience, as you have seen from Jean-Olivier, Blue Cloud works a lot with researchers. So how we could implement those principles within these technical platforms to reach non-technical audiences that can also be part of this momentum.
Hi, Rita. Thank you so much for that question. To begin with, just as a perspective from Asia, the region is so diverse in culture and in languages. I think the first important goal would be to include many different language options so that non-scientific people, regional, local, and also primary stakeholders mainly can use these tools easily. Secondly,
multilingual.
Yeah, to make it multilingual. And secondly, I think it is necessary to have very user-friendly, easy interface in such tools because a lot of the databases have graphs and data, and they're all based on different computer languages, which also many scientists don't know how to use effectively. So it is hard for primary stakeholders to make use of very well in their lives. For example, to have data on weather forecast or ocean conditions or fish stocks or harmful algal bloom, things that affect their lives directly daily. I also believe it would require efforts from the other end, which is directly having ECOPs and ocean professionals and other scientific folk engaging directly with people to bring it to their awareness about the existence of such tools and also to teach them or make a kind of a protocol or a guideline about how to use them easily. And I think including a citizen science point to this would be very good, where the primary stakeholders can also feel like a part of this database by adding their own data that they collect and putting it into these databases. Because these are really important information that we can gather from coastal communities, which we otherwise would probably miss. Yeah, I think that to me would be an effective solution to reaching non-scientific people with these databases.
Okay, thank you, Andrea. So I understood. So naturally, have materials available in several languages, maybe not only in English. Also, to be able to translate that technical information and graphics, make them available in a way that a person who's not a researcher can easily understand what he's looking at. It could be through tools and so on. And also the last point you were mentioning, the citizen science. I'm aware there are several citizen science initiatives, at least in Europe, and they are a success. So, but that would be, let's say, an important channel to make, as you said, make people feel part of the game, and also to see they are able even to share the reality of their own communities. Like, we care even more for the things we have close to us, so it will be a way to benefit and also to attract them to share information about the things that they see. I believe there are kind of tools that make that data easily available. I'm not sure, Sarah, if you like to mention. I know there is this initiative, and I believe you may know more details about this, which is the Very Fish project, right? It's a way to also make data available to the general public, but without showcasing technical data, right?
No, well, I mean, yeah, there are many. I mean, I'm not gonna
No, but
to
that's an example of what Andrija was maybe mentioning, that you should have more.
Yeah, but I think, yes, exactly. I mean, Veryfish is another initiative, is simply using scientifically validated databases to build instruments on sustainable fishery. But apart from that, I mean, the work, Blue Cloud positions a little back in the chain that you've highlighted, Andrija. So what Blue Cloud is doing is empowering researchers to build scientifically validated and quality controlled data and data products that then can be used to develop applications for, let's say, usage in decision-making context. So I don't want to be too simplistic. I mean, the work that we are presenting today is one of the building blocks of what comes very far in the narrative of what ocean literacy is. I mean, the models that Jean-Olivier explained, I mean, wouldn't it another 2 steps to be probably explained to non-technical audiences? But that's exactly where we want to go. And just starting from qualified and standardized and agreed and the powerful resources that we've mentioned, because there's a lot of information. I mean, we don't have an issue with data, with gathering information. We have an issue in modeling them in appropriate ways. And that's the challenges that we are facing. So luckily, I would say, going back to the point of the language, there's a common language that is the IT language. I would say that probably is the one that is shared and can be used by any IT professional or researchers, or even the scientific marine communities. I mean, working with the data gathered from the biological research of physics, of chemistry, or anything. That's the actual common language, I would say, we're working on.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Andrija. And Sarah, since I kind of approached you, I'd like to approach you further with our following question. So you kind of brought to the webinar more the policy landscape, mostly focusing on Europe, naturally. So what we'd like to understand from you, what would be your opinion, is that how all these initiatives, which are very technical, namely the Blue Cloud, the OSC, the DTO, but there are also other ones, which are the Copernicus and EMODNet, so heavily data collectors from the European side. How we can bridge, let's say, this gap that we were kind of discussing a few moments ago, with the gap between the expert marine data services, but also the societal users that maybe Andrija, for example, she was talking about, in a way to ensure that whatever investment is being made, either in Europe or even outside of Europe, can translate this into a better public understanding of this ocean data and ocean sustainability?
No, I think to answer this, I will only point you to, as I said, to editor program. So I just pasted the link, basically because it's where from now on, I mean, the Commission funding are being invested in for translating ocean science into tools that can help decision makers in our societal challenges. That's where, I mean, our efforts and all the others are really driving to build models and digital replica of the seas. So there is no an answer, but I mean the many calls or funding instruments, collaborations that are that will, let's say, materialize in Europe from now on will all refer to this editor program, which is, I mean, one of the major drivers of what in Europe is called the Ocean Pact, which again is a policy framework driving resources and political directives, I mean, towards the objective of supporting ocean research in Europe. So yeah, I would refer, I mean, the colleagues outside Europe to look into that.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. I think we should proceed. And now I would like to reach Jean-Olivier, who provided a very technical overview of data collection, highlighting always the importance of having different people who are working together to make that possible. So, Jean-Olivier, in your view, like as you highlighted very well, that case of WooCloud, which was one of our workbenches, that is only possible because different people are working together to coordinating different ocean surveys that come all around the world, and that was clearly visible through the maps that you include in your presentation. But in your opinion, what should be the main good data practices to ensure that all this information is harmonized in an international level in an efficient way, but at the same time, it can also ensure that ocean literacy levels increases around the globe thanks to this international cooperation. And in fact, how a non-technical audience could have a role on this matter.
Yes, thanks for the question. I have 1 minute to answer, right? So
I did not say that.
Let's make it quick. So I would say that it all starts with data. And a large part of Blue Cloud and of Editor now is about gathering the data in a meaningful and as large as possible manner. And I think that ocean literacy can play a role there by just, I mean, more on a professional side, let's say, but teaching people what the good data paths are. And ingraining in everyone's mind that you don't collect data just for your study, but you collect data for your study and then for everyone else in the world. So it was, you know, if we achieve this, then that's already a big gain. And I would say especially for biological data, because the physical data, biogeochemical data, usually it's not as bad. But biological data we're a bit late. And then the non-technical audience, I think it was citizen science was mentioned. That's
yes.
One way that citizens can produce data, can contribute to the effort. And I know that it's actually already ongoing in different places. It's just like the rest, it should not be an isolated effort. It's the end goal should be that the data serves its immediate purpose, but also serves a longer term purpose. Yeah, and I'll stop there.
Okay. Thank you, Jean-Olivier. Again, citizen science is indeed one way to go to have non-technical people involved on this ocean literacy and contribution to ocean knowledge. And from Jean-Olivier, I going to, let's say, close this panel discussion with Otman, who wears both hats. So I think it's a good way to finish this section with you, Otman. So our, let's say, curiosity towards you would be to understand your opinion on a matter. So you are the ECOP National Coordinator of Morocco, and you are very familiar with the Blue Cloud hackathons that was organized a couple of months ago. So in your view, how this model from the Blue Cloud hackathon and the results could empower, let's say, the early career ocean professionals from ECOP network across Africa, but maybe around the globe. Africa, let's say, that's where you're based naturally. So how those results could empower these early career researchers, but also to ensure that in the long term they have new skills and capacity which will have a positive impact within the communities where these same researchers are located.
Yeah, thank you. I hope I have more time to answer than Jean-Olivier because 1 minute is not enough. But yeah, I think the main goal of a hackathon is getting a group of people interested in a topic to come and discuss and give tangible answers. And because the hackathon was open to everyone in the world, it would have brought a lot of people from different world talking about their challenges in each country, but also coming together and assisting each other and to understanding better the topic. And maybe like you've seen in the technical side of Jean-Olivier presentation, not all of them were expert in all the fields. They were especially expert in some of the fields, but you can see there's like interactions between specialists which get the science word. The unfortunate case of Africa is that the capacity development issue is so wide that maybe I would do also this, talking about Blue Cloud. There's, I think, the Blue Cloud Academy, where you can get there and you understand how to use it and understand and get some of the capacity development for free, open access. This gonna be used for early career professionals in Africa to get them to little bit as a long-term solution for their lack of capacity development, but also maybe we can do a little bit as ECOP coordinators, do a challenge of organizing a little bit like small scale hackathon in each region, gathering like data and ensuring that we can get them like coaches, because I feel like in this year hackathon, the coaches helped immensely the teams and gave them so much insight, either technical or also in the understanding the topic. So maybe also it's a role of us to ensure that we involve the youth and we involve ECOPs by doing small scale hackathon, by also sharing with them projects and participating in local gathering of science, and partially that would be the thing that we'll try to do by giving them these opportunities. Yeah, so I feel like that would be the best case scenario.
Okay, thank you, Otman, for your insights, and also to all of you for doing your presentations and also being part of this panel discussion. At the moment, we reached the conclusion of our webinar. We are a little bit some moments after the official conclusion. So I would like to give the floor. So the webinar was opened by me and Evgenia, but now it will be closed again by Evgenia, but then with Sara Pitonet, who is the coordinator of Blue Cloud, to give some final words before we wish have a lovely weekend to everyone. Sara and Evgenia, some inspiring words before we leave.
Thank you, Rita. I think the webinar was really very inspiring with several great presentations, and it's great that we also heard from different regions. I think it's always very inspirational and very useful. So what I noted from the discussions is that indeed we need to ensure that we collaborate, that we don't work in the same ocean bubble. And I think in the case of ocean data and ocean data platforms, it's really important to share the information about such platforms, projects available, because it's very easy to think that everybody knows about such projects if we work in this bubble. But very often, a lot of people, they are just not aware of databases and availability of ocean data. We have been doing a lot of webinars where we invite organizations to present about databases or opportunities they have. And there are a lot, and a lot of people just don't know about that. So I would just like to, push for more sharing of information, sharing of the results of the work, sharing of such initiatives like this one. And of course, if we talk about ocean literacy specifically, I absolutely agree with the points made about the importance of citizen science and a way that citizen science can actually play in collecting information and actually involving just general population in the whole ocean sphere, even though they're not professionals. And also really like the comment about the importance of having platforms or having ocean literacy projects in various languages, as we tend to see this problem that a lot of ocean literacy materials are in English only, or most of them are in English, and it's very important to also have them in other languages, as this is a very significant barrier for uptake of important information and to change. This is really a barrier for change in behavior for many audiences. But thank you very much. It was a great pleasure to be here today, and thank you for inviting us to do this together.
Yeah, thank you again. I'll be very quick since we've mentioned training. I'll invite all of you to look at the recent courses that have been launched on the United Nations Academy platform. There are 3 courses on free of the virtual lab services that Blue Cloud is releasing. So I hope this will be an initial way to get familiarized with the services and with what can be done with them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for our speakers, for ECOP joining this activity, but also for our attendees who are on the other side for your question and joining us today. All materials will be available on the official webpage of the webinar, everything the latest by Monday. And we wish you a lovely evening and a good start of the weekend, and see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.